What up, y'all? Weekly Western, number 3. This last week was CMA Fest, so the last time I did this, I was in my parents' apartment in downtown Nashville, and it feels like a year since we shot the last one. We had a crazy weekend. I'll get into it. First of all, welcome back. If you don't already, make sure to like and subscribe. If you don't already know what this is, we're just doing a brand new thing where I get on here and really go way more into depth about what's actually going on, kind of beyond the TikTok, beyond the Instagram story, like what's really happening in my life. So we do a couple segments, and I'm gonna get into the first one. Firstly, we play a game called Gold, Cactus, Horseshoe. The best part of my week, the worst part of my week, the most random part of my week. This week, my best part of my week was I started working with a personal trainer. His name is Jackson. So me, Jackson, and then my manager Jeff have been doing these workouts together, and they have kicked my ass. I was just telling Micah, who's here filming with me, like I literally went to grab the rail going up the stairs, and I just feel like an old man, like my triceps and everything are filled with lactic acid and barely able to move, which is great. I grew up as an athlete, and it just feels good to actually feel athletic again. There was a time where I was so fit and it was such a priority. Between the pandemic, I went through a breakup, and then life happens, priorities shift, and over the last year, I would say it just kind of started to become less of a priority. I got really burnt out from doing stuff in college, and I just didn't feel motivated. So I told Jeff, I was like, let's just do this, and it's on my calendar. I can't bitch you out, so I have to go. And it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed that. So I crushed my legs today. If you see me walking in the airport like a baby giraffe tomorrow, you didn't see me. Cactus would be, I would just say I'm not having a ton of time to reflect or just chill right now. Things are really crazy, which is incredible. But if I'm being honest with myself, which I'm trying to not filter myself in these and not give you guys just the highlight reel, I want to let you in a little bit. I feel a little burnt out this week after CMA Fest. It was a ton of shows. When you're meeting people and you're meeting one, just tons of fans, which is amazing, and two, a ton of industry people, you're just giving off a lot of energy, and I don't feel like I've really recouped my soul points that I spent last week. And I have 5 shows in 5 different states in 5 different days this week. So I definitely do not have any, time to kind of gain that back, and that can be a little stressful for me. I like to feel rested somewhat before I dive into a whole nother thing. On top of finishing mixes for this next project, which again is amazing, but just kind of a stressful process if you're not familiar with it. Mixing is getting all the levels of everything that you compiled together so that it sits well, it listens down cleanly, and things are hitting the right way, which is just stressful when you are creating something you're really passionate about. You just want it to be right. So I would say I just have a lot on my plate, and not a lot of, probably not as much help as I need, and not a lot of time to rebuild my little soul as much as I'd like. But I can't help it. I'm an optimist. Woe is me. These are all fucking awesome things, and the problems I have are, in the grand scheme of things, very small, or they're problems because they're about good things. So try to keep that perspective, and I really mean that when I say it. I'm living my dream, and Mike and I were just talking before we got on how a lot of stuff that we're bitching about are things that we would have killed to be doing a while ago. So it's a good thing to remind myself, this is what I asked for. Even if I'm tired, even if, I can barely walk in the airport. These are the things that we asked for. Random. What is my horseshoe of the week? My horseshoe of the week is getting the fire. Oh my gosh, yeah! I didn't know that. Mike is behind the camera going like this, and I was like, did I give the woogity woogity to somebody? I was on my way here, and I saw a fire on the side of the road, and I just called 911 for the first time since I was in 3rd grade, and I just felt so flustered, but I felt like it was my civic duty to let the good people of Nashville Fire Department know. There was a 7-foot fire that was just kind of starting to crawl up this hill, and I feel like I was the first one to see it. I called 911, the guy was kind of rude to me, but hopefully it got taken care of. And I'll check the news tonight, and hopefully there's no news on this fire. That was so random. Thank you for reminding me of that. I was like, yes, the fire. The fire was my horseshoe. If you ever see me doing this, that's fire, baby. Yeah, so that's my gold cactus horseshoe of the week. Thank you for following along and playing. I'd love to hear your gold cactus and horseshoe. Put it in the comments. It's kind of what I want this to be, is like an actual dialogue and an actual community of people who are getting together. And if you see someone with a cactus in the comments that feels like egregious, give them some love. If you see somebody celebrating something with their gold, give them some love. Share your random thing, your horseshoe in the comments. We just want to like hear from you and love on you and be a part of this community, especially moving into this next project. It's going to be really, really cool if we kind of do it together and we build this as a squad. Stadium gang, you already know. Cool. Well, thank you. Let's move into the Q&A portion. I'm taking questions from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. Our first question is from Mariah_short. With all that has happened in your life, what are you most grateful for? It's a great question. I'd say especially right now, like the people that I've surrounded myself with, I'm actually like really proud of that. I moved to Nashville and didn't have a ton of like friends. Like I had acquaintances, but I didn't have like a lot of like deep friends. And I had that growing up. I had a deep sense of community with like my high school buddies, my college buddies. And so I moved out here. It's just super different. And it took me a long time, but I really found those people who champion me and who like don't care what's going on in music in the best way. They're like, dude, that's awesome, you met with so-and-so. Anyway, are you gonna come over and watch the finals? Like that's what I need, and that's what I'm really grateful for, is I just have like a kind of dope ass community, guys. Really good friends, and my parents, my family, like I have people who love me and care about me. Again, just outside of music, outside of any of that stuff. C.Bowen91 asks, is your phone number that you post really yours? Yes, it's a community number in which I send out updates about music and touring. So we have like 35,000 people who have texted this number, which is incredible. What I want it to be is for me to help tell my story to you guys, to keep you posted like on something like the Weekly Western. You might have gotten a text and now you're watching this. So it's a great way for me to like keep that line of dialogue open. You know, our emails are all messed up and we don't see as much of stuff as we used to, like on TikTok and Instagram. It's very saturated, so it's kind of like a direct line to you just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Here's something I actually think that you'd like. I also send out just updates about my life that aren't on social media, or I'll be golfing. I'll take a selfie with my parents you might not see anywhere else. So it's just a great way to like keep that actual open dialogue. And then like the day a song comes out, you're just gonna get that extra reminder with the actual link. So hopefully it's just either helpful, informative, and just like a good way for us to talk. I actually also respond to those. A lot of people like think I'm full of shit. I actually sit down for like an hour a day and sit down and respond to text messages. So text me. If you're watching this, I'm gonna put a little nugget in here. Text me the word highway fire. Text me highway fire if you're watching this, and I'm gonna try to respond. And I'm gonna pick someone and send them just a whole merch package, because that's fun. Yeah, so I really do respond to texts. And it's like one of my favorite things to read people's, you know, stories about my music and shows and all that stuff. Simply Misunderstood XO asks about what do we do now? So what did you actually do with your ex after you broke up? You salty dog, cutting straight to the heart. You know, the honest truth is the last person I seriously dated lives in Nashville, and a lot of the questions that we had like are really in what do we do now? Like, should we be friends? Should I not talk to you? Should I text you on your birthday? What happens if you move on? What happens if I move on? Sticky stuff. We're friends. I mean, I talk to her at least weekly. She has a boyfriend, and I'm like very happy for her, and I know that might sound weird to a lot of people, but I think Nashville's a different animal, where if I lived in like Colorado and I didn't have the same industry as this person, it wouldn't be a big deal, but this person's also in the music industry, and so it feels like forever high school, where like you're just gonna see that person. And so I think we made the decision that like we can either pretend like we don't exist, or we can like really cheer each other on because we were a huge part of each other's lives. I still have so much love for her, and I feel it right back. So we are friends. There are some healthy boundaries built into that. We're not, you know, hanging out alone on a Saturday night, but we are like really close still, and I'm thankful for her friendship, and I wish the best for her in every single way. Yeah, so by the way, it continues to change, and we just have always said be open and honest with like what you want, what you need. So if she texts me tomorrow saying like, hey, I can't have you in my life or whatever, like I would have to respect that. If she said, hey, let's go grab a coffee because I want to hear about what you're doing, like I would also do that. So it's just a real part of adult breakups, is they are much weirder than you would think they are. It's not like the high school cut and dry or I hate you. Like, it is what it is. And I've told the long version of that because I've never told that. So I felt like that was kind of a cool little tidbit that was worth going into, because I am a little private when it comes to my relationships because I want to like protect those people. So that's why you'll notice I'll never like say people's names. But I want to also be less filtered on here. So we're finding it. We're finding the tone and the what I can say, what I can't say, what I should say, what I should say. Any whoozle woozle. The next question. Brittany.Smith asks, where were you and what were you doing the first time you heard yourself on the radio? I was on a camping trip with my high school friends.
Right now, Spencer Crandall is on the horizon with apartments in LA.
I heard myself on Sirius XM, the highway. And it was such a surreal moment because like those were the guys who were listening to me practice like a D chord in my dorm room and being like, shut the fuck up. For God's sake, you can't do this. But they were also the first people to like come to I played like these shitty sorority gigs where they left the house music playing while I was playing, and they would sit there and like jam with me, and people who I've known since kindergarten, like legitimately Ty Levine, Austin Hayter, Jeff Helblig, Brant, John, Pags, Joe, Tanner, like I have known these kids my entire life. So to get to have that moment with them was just super special. It was on our like annual camping trip that we do together. So that was really cool. First time I heard myself on the radio. Shout out to the highway. Oh, one more question. How many pairs of shoes do you have? From Mags_Rachel. I'm embarrassed to answer this question. You know what? I'm not embarrassed to answer this question. I really like shoes, and I'll have a lot of other things that I like. I mean, I just built some shoe racks that each hold 32 spots in them. No, that can't be right. I mean, my rough guesstimate is 70. 70? Built over the course of 4 or 5 years. I really do wear almost every pair of shoes like on like a quarterly basis at least. And some of those are like dress shoes or like, you know, like a shoe that you can't wear every day. Like this is a nice everyday wear where I can throw this on with a lot of outfits. Not everything's like that. You got some louder shoes, or you have some shoes that you do every day, and then you kind of have like some different options of that shoe. I am justifying my shoe addiction right now, and I understand that. Self-awareness is the first step. 70-ish. I will count them and I'll put it on my Instagram story one of these days. Is there also a pair of shoes that is sitting unopened in my back room right now? Yes. Yes, there is. I have a problem. Those are all the questions. Those are all the questions that we have this week. Drop your questions in the comments, and then whenever I ask them on Instagram, make sure to ask them because this is where they get answered. So, the Western update. You still don't quite know what that means, and that's okay. Just know that it has to do with this next era. When I say era, I don't mean that lightly. It's not like a 4-week thing where I put out a song. I'm going to take you on a journey this year that is going to be pretty remarkable and really different than anything you've ever seen from any artist, any genre. That includes from the visual stuff to the songs to the, I mean, I feel like we're inventing a brand new genre of music, which is pretty crazy. And I don't just say that lightly. Normally, if somebody else said that, I would call them out and say that's kind of bullshit. But I really actually feel that way. So, with that being said, I am finishing mixing the first 2 songs that you're gonna hear. I had like full body goosebumps last night as I'm driving home because I was like, there's just nothing cooler than having a vision, working it out and like grinding through what that's gonna look and sound like, and coming out on the other side with it sounding better than the original vision. And that's what we're doing right now. Like the music we're making, I'm fucking freaking out about. I feel like if any other artist put this out, I would be like standing on the soapbox of social media being like, look at this thing. And I've never felt that way. I've been really proud of my music, but it's been like, I think it's really good. This feels like an evergreen piece of artwork for me that I think is gonna be pretty life-changing. And I'm just really, really, really proud of it. So we're in the mixing stage, a lot of stuff. We're cutting full band stuff as well. Lots of moving pieces, but that's kind of the closest I can get without spoiling it all. The Western update for this week is basically, we busy. Yes. But we're super excited, and I genuinely am hearing this music back before we get it all submitted. It's coming sooner than you think. That's kind of the last little tidbit I'll give you, and then otherwise Jeff will put a hit out on me. I think that's it. We did gold, cactus, horseshoe. We answered some questions. I gave you the weekly update. The only thing for you to do now is to subscribe and to just give us your gold, cactus, horseshoe in the comments. And hit us with your questions every week, because that's one of my favorite parts. I want to answer like questions I've never really answered. So I'm challenging you. Give me a question that I haven't answered or stump me in the comments or on Instagram. That's it, y'all. Thank you very much for watching. And this has been really fun. I appreciate you guys. Much love. Shout out to the Stadium Gang. Peace.